Morning, peeps. So I'm just checking the camera is at the right angle for what I need for today. Yes, I think it is. So good morning. This is the squat mobility workshop. I'm delivering this to help you improve the mobility in your squats so you can get more out of your exercise. So when it comes to the squat, we've got lots of different things to consider. And in terms of the things that impact the squat the most, we're looking at our ankles, our knees, and of course our hips. So what you might be surprised to learn is that the joint that kind of restricts the squat the most is actually the ankles. And obviously it depends individually what you struggle with, but the ankles are a really common area that is restricting your squat and stopping you from getting into that nice kind of bum to the floor, bum near to the floor position to get the best out of the movement that we're trying to do. So a couple of bits that you might want to have access to today, and these aren't essential for today unless you want to physically join in with the things that I'm encouraging you to do. So you could just be watching this to kind of glean the information to use at a later date, and that's fine. But if you want to join in with some of the things I'm going to suggest today, then you are going to need access to some sort of foam roller. If you don't have a foam roller, then a broom handle or even a rolling pin can be a nice alternative to this, and I can show you how to do that today. And then you'd also potentially need a weight plate, a kettlebell or a dumbbell, something kind of small to medium size. I've got a 5 kilo one here. But again, you know, if you don't have that, then just kind of keep these techniques in mind, and we'll go from there when it comes to you know, bringing these things into your warm-up routine. So they're the kind of things that you'll need before we start. Again, if you are just listening along, then just kind of take some notes or even write some notes down and make sure that you feel confident with the things that we're doing. And if you don't, then you can ask me when we're back in the gym. Hopefully we can do this as part of our proper warm-ups to get the improvement into your squats that you're looking for. So like I said, the restrictions that we're going to be looking at today primarily are at the ankle level. So the first port of call really with looking at the ankles is to do an ankle mobility test. So the things I'm going to show you today, the techniques I'm going to share with you, these are not magic fixes. They're not things that are going to, you know, kind of magically snap your squat into the best shape ever. These are things that you'll need to work on a regular basis and build into your warm-ups, your mobility routines, build in on a regular basis, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week. Particularly if you're doing loads of walking and running as well, the ankles take a bit of a battering doing those sorts of exercises, and they can get quite restricted. I actually tested this out myself this morning before I started filming this, and I was surprised to realise that my mobility in my ankles is pretty poor. I hadn't done this for a while. So, you know, you'll see with the test that we're going to do in a second, you'll see if the ankles are for you a potential restriction, and then we can start to work on what we can do to improve that. So what you're going to need is a wall to work against. So ideally like a flat wall. I've got this like textured wall here, but it is essentially flat. So try and find something like that. And what we're going to be doing is kneeling on one knee and pushing the other knee toward the wall. So if you struggle with kneeling on the floor, then also get a cushion to put under your knee, which I'm going to do now as well. So just get something, if you're not comfortable kneeling directly onto the floor, that you can support your other knee on. So I'm aware that the angle here in terms of kind of watching what I'm doing isn't perfect, but I'm working from home and trying to do the best thing that I possibly can with this. So just bear with me and try and listen to what I'm saying if you can't quite gather from the visual from what I'm doing. So what we're going to do here is test how restricted you are in the front of the ankle here. So what we want to do is get our fist and measure the distance from the wall and measure that fist distance. And that's where you're going to put your toes. So if we kneel on the left knee and put the right knee forwards, and then we're going to put the fist in between the wall and our toes, shuffle the toes in so that you've kind of measured up with the outside of your fist, and then remove your fist. So to measure the mobility here, we're going to move the knee toward the wall. And if you can touch the wall with the knee without the heel coming off the floor, so if you're doing this and your heel is like this is showing that you've got a bit of a restriction through the front of the ankle here. So pushing in, measuring that, See if your heel can stay on the floor. And if it can, we're going to push to the next level. If you are already lifting off here, just watch the next bit, and then this is a future test that you can do when your ability starts to improve. So if you pass the fist test, we're going to do the fist and the extended thumb. So the outside of the fist against the wall, point the thumb toward the toes, shuffle the toes in, and then we're going to again shift the weight forwards, push the knee toward the wall. And what you're going to see here, watch how my heel lifts off the floor. So for me, I passed the first test, I passed the fist test, but this second test, the fist and the thumb length, when I push to here, I'm about an inch away, and then my heel starts to lift off the floor. So that is indicating to me that I've got some restriction there in the front of my right ankle. Okay, so do those tests for yourself. I really would encourage you to give those a try. They're quite useful. They're quite they tell us quite a good story when it comes to learning about our bodies. And like I said, I was surprised this morning when I tested it out on myself and found that I was quite restricted in both ankles, particularly my other ankle. So if you've done your right ankle first, we're going to do the left ankle now. It's always good to do both sides. So again, the same things apply. Get the fist next to the wall, shuffle those toes in. We're starting with just the fist test first of all, and then shift the weight forwards, push the knee toward the wall, and make sure that heel stays stuck to the ground. Okay. Again, if it doesn't, it's very common for both ankles to have different levels of ability. So if you were able to do it really easily on one side and this is a struggle on the other side, then that's a very normal thing. Don't worry, you're not. It's not a big problem. We can sort this out. So if you pass the first test, do the fist and the extended thumb, and then we're going to push through that knee. This time, when I can feel my heel here start to lift off the floor, I'm at least 2, maybe 2.5 inches away from the wall. So on the other side, on the first side, on my right side, I was about 1 inch away from the wall before my heel started to lift. And on the left side, I was a good maybe 2.5 inches away. So it's just good to pick up on these things and recognize where we might have these restrictions and how these restrictions might be kind of flowing up the body and affecting movements that we just weren't really aware had anything to do with the ankles. Okay, so what we can do next is a bit of ankle mobility and a bit of ankle releasing. So getting into that same position that you were just in, but coming away from the wall this time. So you may still want to kneel on your cushion if you have any struggles with kneeling on the floor. We're going to get into that kind of lunge position. Bring your kind of foot underneath your knee, and then we're going to push the body weight forward. I'm going to put sideways a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. And we're going to work into that ankle now. So we're pushing our body weight through, but make sure you keep this heel on the floor. So you're kind of putting your body weight over that ankle and pumping your knee and your body weight forward. The only time this becomes an issue is if you start to lift the heel and start to put a lot of pressure through the knee. But get that back leg back for balance and get your body weight forward, put your hands on the floor and just kind of pump into that ankle. And you'll, after a while, like with anything that we repeat on after a few reps, you'll start to feel maybe a little bit achy in the ankle, like it's kind of burning a little bit, and that's fine. But just keep going with that, really mobilize into that ankle, keep the heel down, maybe do 10 reps at a time, so gentle pulses, really fight to keep that heel down. Feel that kind of releasing. And then we're going to push forward and hold, put your weight through, really feel this stretching out a little bit here, releasing, keep the heel pushing into the floor. We'll do 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so back leg kneeling, front leg out to the front. Heel on the floor, and then push your body weight through. Okay, so again, make sure the heel stays down, that your body kind of over that top part of the leg and push down into it. So the heel down is creating that support for the knee. You've got the hands supporting with the front. Do about 10 pulses and then pull back. And then again, 10 in again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, check that heel, 2, 1, and then we're going to hang out there for about 10 seconds. Just put all your weight into there. And one of the things that you may feel in this position is that your calf muscle or your Achilles is quite tight. That's what I'm feeling right now. And that's what we'll move on to next. So what we're going to do after we've done this 10-second hold, we're going to retest the ankle mobility. And one of the really great things about these sorts of exercises is that you can get some fairly instantaneous results, but they don't last very long. Okay, so you do have to do this on a regular basis. You have to keep up with this mobility work and make sure that you keep doing it, to keep releasing off these ankles. If you do a lot of running, a lot of walking, a lot of hiking, if you're on your feet quite a lot, then your ankles are taking a lot of the strain of your day. And that's just the way it is. We stand on our feet, so they are going to be having a lot of work to do in the day. So if we are serious about improving our squat range and improving the mobility in the ankles, then we need to do this on a regular basis. So let's retest that ankle mobility now. So again, against the wall, get your first leg into position. If you pass the first test, if you pass just the fist test the first time, and that was quite easy for you, go straight into the fist and the thumb. So because I was able to do the first one, I'm going to go for the fist and thumb one, and then push into that. So now I'm getting a lot closer to the wall. I'm not quite there, but that's moved from 1 inch to about 1/2 an inch. So just with that little tiny bit of mobility exercise that we've just done, that little kind of pumping and holding kind of release on the ankle, I took 1/2 an inch off or added 1/2 an inch range to what I'm able to do. Okay, so let's test the other side. So again, on this side, I was able to easily do the fist test. So I'm going to go for the fist and the thumb. So get measured up, push your weight into it. And again, this time, instead of 2.5 inches, I'm about 1 inch away from the wall. So with that really, really simple exercise to release out the ankles, I'm able to really improve my range of ankle mobility. So I hope that kind of shows you the power of these things. And if you are able to keep doing them as part of your warm-ups, and if you did those tests and thought, my goodness, I'm a bit restricted. And it was surprising for me to realize that this morning as well. It's just one of those things that we just don't really always think about. So bear that in mind, and keep retesting yourself and keep working on it. So like I mentioned just a minute ago, the front of the ankle is only one part of this joint here. We've also got this back part and the side parts where the Achilles comes into the calf muscle. So one of the things that is really, really effective for kind of loosening up around these ankle areas is the good old foam roller. And if you did any foam rolling before, you may be thinking, oh no, painful. And what I kind of want to impress upon you today is that the way we're going to use this to release around the calves and ankles, I don't want you to be kind of really tensing up and really having like a really hard and horrible time with this. So what we want to be doing is getting enough pressure that you feel it's doing some sort of release, like a massage would, but not making you flinch or tense, and not making you like curl your toes, because we really want to make sure that we're getting the right intensity, so that we're not adding more tension into the body. Okay, so I'm going to show you the foam roller first, and I'll talk you through doing it with a broom handle or a rolling pin. But if you do have a foam roller, they're quite a handy piece of kit. I got this one from Function Jigsaw in Wixton, the physio place, and the lady that runs that place designed this herself. She used to work for the Leicester Tigers as their physio, and she could design this kind of spiral shaped roller that is meant to be quite effective for releasing those muscles. So if you can get yourself into position with this, or just imagine that you would be doing this, we're going to start on the lower third of the calf muscle, or the kind of just above the ankle into the lower third of the lower leg. So we're not rolling up the whole leg to start with. We're just going for that kind of lower section here. So we're going to put that onto the roller, and all you really need to do to begin with is hands behind the back, kind of support yourself, and just add a little bit of pressure, just gently rolling forwards and backwards. And one of the things I think people make the mistake of with doing foam rolling is going a bit too quickly. And with a massage, when I used to do massage, I was never kind of like, it was nice slow strokes, nice control, because firstly, we need to be able to manage the intensity that we're feeling. But secondly, the muscles will respond better to a slower approach. And like with all types of training, not all types, most types of training, a lot of times when you slow it down, you can really get quite a good effect from doing that. So let's get into that lower part of the calf muscle. So really just gliding a third of the way up the back of the leg. And you can go slightly over to the side, the outside way, and then into the middle, and then the inside. So the back of the leg, if you're kind of missing out on a couple of angles there if we don't move the leg around. So just have a little play with that. And if that isn't enough for you, if you're feeling like, okay, that's kind of nice, but it's not enough, you can add your other foot on top with the bone off the floor here and really work into it. But if in doing so, that creates that kind of toe curling, tension producing posture, then it's probably best that you do that without the extra foot on top. So just work on that bottom part of the leg for a couple of minutes, just gently rolling up and down in the middle way, over to the outside way, and just feel what you're feeling. Let's get connected with your body and where you might feel tight. You might notice that if you've rolled your ankle in the past, you're particularly tight on the outside. Just really start to make those connections with your body. So when you're doing a couple of minutes on that kind of lower third of the calf, if you're wearing shorts, you'll be fine. I'm going to roll my leg up, roll my trousers up. So we're now going to work on the upper 2/3, so kind of from down here all the way up to the back of the knee. So when we're rolling, we're never going to roll straight onto the back of the joint here. So kind of have a little feel of that muscle, feel how far the muscle goes up, and you'll feel where the muscle stops. And it's, again, just getting to know your body and getting to know what's going on here so that you're not putting yourself into a position of jeopardy when you're putting your joint under too much pressure. So again, supporting yourself on your hands, and what we're going to do is a nice slow roll up here. So we're going to go up for 2 inches and down for 1 inch, up for 2 inches and down for 1 inch, and keep working like that, up for 2 and down for 1, up for 2, down for 1. Keep going until you get all the way to the top, up for 2 and down for 1, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And when you reach that top point, we're going to work backwards, down for 2, up for 1, down for 2, up for 1. Nice slow movements, down for 2, up for 1, until you get down to that bottom point again, and start going again, up for 2, down for 1, up for 2. And I can already start to feel this really working into my calf. It's feeling quite nice, like it's feeling like a real massage. I definitely need one of those soon, whenever these massage places are allowed to open. So up for 2, down for 1. I'm running out of space, so I'm going to shift backwards slightly. So just work up the leg in that manner. And when you get back to the top again, down for 2, up for 1. And you may feel again that you need to do this at the middle section, on the outside and the inside. So just have a play with it, go really slow. Make sure you're hitting all those points that are going to impact on that nice smooth movement into your squat. So what you might have noticed so far today is that we haven't actually done any squatting at all. And that's because this is the prep work that we need to do to get the body into the right position and the right kind of muscles and joints prepared for you to do a really effective and safe squat. So, I mean, these are things, again, that don't always make it into gym programs because they take quite a lot of time. We're already at 20 minutes now, and all we've done really is release the ankles and foam roll the calves. And if you're short of time, if you only have like 40 minutes to go to the gym and do a really good workout, then you're probably not going to spend 20 minutes doing mobility before your workout. However, if you have time like of an evening or an afternoon to kind of put these things into your routine, if you're just watching a bit of TV, just relaxing, I'm not saying do this every single day, but just whenever you kind of feel like it, or even when you don't always feel like it sometimes, get that foam roller out, just get into that position, release those ankles off. It will be more effective the closer to your squatting that you do this, but it's always effective to do a bit of mobility and foam rolling no matter what. So if you can justify doing that in your routine, then get that in as much as you can. So I don't have time today to do both legs of foam rolling, but what I'm going to do now is retest the leg that I did the foam rolling on and see if that makes a difference. And the thing to remember here is that you may not experience any kind of benefit from these things today or right now, but it's that consistent application, that consistent build-up of that mobility training and that kind of releasing work that you'll really start to feel the benefit from. So don't fret if you're not feeling an improvement today, right in this second. Keep working on it, keep building on it. Particularly if you're a runner or walker, I do a lot of walking, and I found that I was quite surprised that my ability was quite poor. But then when I thought about it, actually, the amount of walking that I do, I'm no longer surprised by the lack of ability. And actually, I have been told by a physio in the past that I've got this restriction here, but I just forgotten, as we always do when we see physios. We're in there, we're like, yeah, of course I'll do those things. Then you walk out and you forget to do them. So this is bringing good memories back for me, at least. So keep working on it. If you've not seen an improvement today, don't fret, but just keep that in mind when you're doing your training. So the retest I'm going to do is the fist and the thumb extension. I'm going to push through, and yeah. So I'm a tiny bit closer there, but I still felt a bit tight at the back of my calf. So I probably need to spend a bit more time foam rolling my calves, releasing off my calves before I'm going to see any more improvement. I already took this improvement from 1 inch to half an inch when I did the first set of mobility. The foam rolling is going to help, but for me, as far as I can tell and assume, I think a bit more foam rolling, a bit more care of those calves is going to be really beneficial for me. I'm going to sneeze. Hay fever. Excuse me. So with any mobility work or foam rolling work that you do, just retest on those mobility exercises, retest the range after each one, just so you've got that mental information that you can kind of work from each time. Okay, and the final progression we're going to do today on improving this mobility is using our weight. So if you have a dumbbell, a kettlebell, or a weight plate or something like this, all we're going to do is add that. Actually, I didn't need my cushion again. We're going to add that over the knee and just use that as an extra weight into that stretch. So I can already feel that's giving me a lot more stretch through the calf, but also a lot more range through here. So from the side, again, like I did before, we've got the heel down, we're pushing the body weight through, and we're loading over that knee just to increase that range of stretches. It's an assisted stretch. Sorry, I'm all sniffy now. Hay fever. Okay, get into that stretch. Again, gentle pulses. I can really feel that releasing around my ankle, my Achilles. Apologies for the sniffing. And then I'm going to come back and again into it one more time for 10 seconds. Just loading over that ankle. And then I'm going to test my range one more time after this. And again, I'm not doing this on both sides because I'm just running out of time a little bit here. But just make sure that if you are doing this, do it on both sides to give both sides of your body the best shot at being mobile. Okay, pushing back. So I'm going to go in for one last test. Fist and the thumb width away from the wall. Push my body weight into it, and I can touch the wall. So through those 3 different things, we had the unassisted body weight kind of ankle releases, the foam rolling with the calf that I've realised that I will need to do a bit more, and that kind of weight assisted ankle release. I've been able to take my range on my right side from 1 inch away from the wall to be able to touch the wall. So I feel like I've achieved quite a lot in our 25 minutes together today. I hope that that's been useful for you, to give you some actionable and easy things to do to help improve your squat. I realise again that we've not covered any actual squatting today, but what we'll do in next week's session is make sure that we relate this into the squatting. Okay, so for the next time that we meet together for these technique workshops, we'll be building on what we've done today, and kind of working towards seeing how that actually impacts a real squat. I realised that I didn't show you how to do the foam rolling with the broom handle or the rolling pin. So what you would do with that is, imagining this is like a rolling pin or a broom handle, you would sit on the floor or sit on a chair, and you would work the handle up in the same way. So kind of work the bottom part of the leg first, and then up for 2, down for 1, rolling it up for 2, down for 1. So the same technique, but instead of weight bearing onto your calf, you're gently pushing in. But be careful with the rollers on the back of your legs, the actual broom handles and stuff. They're wooden, and this is foam. So just, apply the appropriate pressure to make sure that you're keeping your muscles and joints safe. We don't want to have epic DOMs in the back of the legs just from doing foam rolling. You might have a little bit of soreness, but we don't want to put ourselves out of action, which I've done before. I've kind of foam rolled my shin muscle before and had a week and a half of pain in that area. So we've got to find the right level for us. So I hope that you've enjoyed that today. If you have any questions, post them in the comments and tag me in, and just keep practicing, keep putting these things into your routines, fit them in the adverts to your TV show or your movie. Do it whilst you're watching your movie, particularly if you're watching something your partner wants to watch and you don't really want to watch it. Get on the floor, do some stretches, do some releases, and really start working on those ankles. And like I said, next week we'll start to build the relevance of this into real life squatting. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I like teaching you these things. I like sharing these things with you, and I hope that you like learning. I will see you on the next technique workshop. Bye.